Most of you know me as the emotional nutritionist, but the other side of my business is a project alchemist where I advise people who have dream projects how their own stuff will get in the way of what they're trying to create. But I also look at what other people's stuff is going to get in the way of what they're trying to accomplish. And it's usually projects that are soul-centered, heart-centered, projects that people are passionate about. And it's not just about creating a business or an organization. It's also a quality of experience that they are working towards. And I found myself having a conversation in the last 10 days with 3 different people. One is an American who's trying to set up base in India and trying to decide how to work here, whom to work with, and meet his goal. And the other person was in tech, completely different business, different requirement, what they were asking me. And the third was in hospitality. And I found myself giving the exact same advice I've given for as long as I can remember, that it doesn't matter when you're hiring people, what their qualifications are, where they come from, where they studied, what their work experience is. It has its own place when you hire somebody. But I found that there are 3 key things that I look for when I'm asked to sit in on a meeting where someone's being hired or see how is this team executing. And there are 3 things that I always look for: capacity, integrity, and what is their survival mechanism. They're going to be like, I went to MIT and I got this degree. What do you mean that's not relevant? But when it comes to long-term goals, especially when you're working for someone else and it's not your project, and you're looking at people to support your dream and goals, the number one thing I notice is how do they manage stress? So when you show up for an interview and your boss gives you a goal, yes, you're committed to that goal, but there's another part of your system that overrides all your education, all your training, and everyone has a personal code, like what you say you'll do versus what you actually do. And that becomes easy to gauge when you're sitting in a group of people and you dig deep enough. But what I find the most interesting part of this is what is their survival mechanism. So survival for different people could be different things. Back in the day, it was roti, kapda, and makan. In Hindi, they say food, clothing, shelter. We've grown past that. And I find this the most interesting part of my work because I have people from all walks of life coming to me for this kind of insight. And what I always tell them is when you look at someone's capacity, you have to look at their self-image because capacity is related to how you think of yourself. So for example, someone says to you, I'm very altruistic, I really think about other people, and that's something that really drives me. And my understanding of people who actually do service as a way of life, as a dharmic part, as a part of your destiny, as an aspect of this is how you want to live. A lot of those people never talk about it. A lot of people who say, I'm helping, I'm so and so, I did this for that person. That's performative generosity. And when you're in a crisis situation and when you're all tired and there's a goal to be met, there's a service to be executed in a situation, that's the person who's going to fail because their sense of self is based on, I'm really nice, I'm really helpful, I'm really kind. But it's an image, it's not reality because people whose way of life, who are more interested in doing the work, will be able to, in that moment, put their head down and just do what needs to be done so the greater goal is achieved. So that's one of my biggest advice to people hiring people is that look for their capacity and their self-image. Look for where you can see examples, proof of their integrity in motion because integrity is a very quiet internal exercise. It's not performative, it's not expressive, it shows up. It's the loudest voice in the room if you're looking for it without saying very much. And survival is a whole other can of worms. What people do to survive, what they've had to do to survive in their family of origin, to get their needs met, the relationship between survival and needs will show up in the boardroom, on the dance floor, at a conference when dealing with a difficult client or a difficult situation within the team. So the next time you find yourself hitting up against a problem in your work space or even in your personal space, look for these 3 things: capacity, survival instincts, and integrity. And I promise you, all of it boils down to this person's personal sense of self and who they think they are in the world and who they had to be to get their needs met. As always, tell me what you find.